Let's go to the next topic here with President Biden on what happened with the press conference. Did you watch the press conference? Did you?
No. And wasn't it 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yes.
Yeah,
Daniel, were you able to watch it?
I watched some of it.
Adam,
did.
did you?
I did watch some of it, the highlights, yes.
Okay, well then let me read a little bit of it, and then you guys tell me if you caught any of it.
Oh, I've got a really special part
Okay,
of it
good.
that I want Tyler to pull
Then
up.
perfect. So Biden's press conference was an utter disaster, says New York Post. If President Biden's press conference, when it was supposed to inspire confidence, it failed horribly, even though he spent most of it clearly calling on reporters from a list of safe questionnaire provided by his staff. He stumbled and bumbled and all too often made no sense at all. Plus, he repeated his bizarre whisper-shout gimmick to emphasize certain points when what it actually emphasized is his age. His answers on Ukraine were particularly confused. The issue is pretty straightforward. Vladimir Putin is threatening an invasion and will do it if he thinks he can get away with it. At the least, he'll try to get the West to bribe him by promising him much of what he wants without any fighting. Then, too, he ought to say Putin would win, albeit at a heavy price. The cost of going into Ukraine is a terms of physical loss of life for the Russians. They'll be able to prevail over time, but it's going to be heavy. Anyways, there was a bunch of different things that was discussed.
His own State Department, during the press conference, was sending out clarifications to what he was saying because he was contradicting the State Department's plans that were public. And his own State Department was like, oh, sorry, he just made a boo-boo.
Yeah, they asked us. So, he just said that he believes there's going to be meddling in the midterms for elections. And Psaki's like, well, no, that's not what he said. What he was trying to say is, no, his words.
Yeah.
He said there's going to be meddling in 2022 midterm elections. That's not what he meant. And then Kamala Harris was pushed on it as well. She got really upset. And even Morning Joe, your guy, came out and said, Putin and Xi see this, and they see Biden as weak. They don't see him as a strong leader of a country. But what was your biggest takeaway watching the press conference?
Look, if this article was written by the Washington Post or something on CNN, I think it would have a lot more credence. And I understand that the
Hey, Bloomberg was reporting the same kinds of. I mean, even the liberal media has gotten pushed to the point where they're like, they've got to recognize some of these gaffes.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the guy is sort of a stumbling, bumbling, gaffe machine. But then again, so was Donald Trump, and that's why Biden was elected. Biden was elected not because he was going to be some superhuman hero to transform America. It was because he was not Donald Trump.
What's a whisper shout?
When he's like, hey, listen, John Stossel, you come at me, buddy. I'm going to challenge you to a push-up contest, buddy.
That's a whisper.
Yeah, and I'm yelling on the inside. Stossel, me and you were playing volleyball, buddy. That's the whisper shot.
Thank you.
Okay. I also think that the media, Biden doesn't do much to get a lot of media attention like Trump did. So the one thing that they will get the media attention is, look at him. He's an old, stumbling, bumbling fool. Oh, okay, cool. They'll get some clicks. I mean, you worked in media forever. But, Pat, I actually want to get your thoughts on this one comment that he made, because he was talking about basically he's touting his infrastructure and basically no surprise medical bills. And he basically said the words, we're not going back to lockdowns. We're not going back to school closings. He said these words. Hey, look, man, I'm a capitalist. But capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's exploitation. So the fact that Joe Biden came out and basically called himself a capitalist.
Stop.
I think that's. Oh, so what? What? Stop. Why am I stopping?
No. Like, what I mean is stop. Because I can be 400 pounds and tell you cheesecake's not good for you. You should stop eating cheesecake. It's just not good for you.
What provoked him to say that? What was the question?
That was part of his speech. I didn't see him answering any questions.
He's being attacked by by the middle of his party for trying to promote socialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, the fact that he even came out and said that, you got to applaud him for saying, look, I'm a capitalist. But even capitalism has some issues.
Well, then why don't you try and back some capitalist policies?
Hey, I agree.
First of all, listen, let me simplify something for you, okay? The other day we showed the Steve Harvey deal, right? What did Steve Harvey show? Steve Harvey showed that the difference between the reason why Dave Chappelle can get away with anything is because he's got what? Subscription.
Subscription, not
He
sponsors.
says not sponsors. When you're sponsors, you can't say everything, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Is Biden a subscription model or a sponsorship model?
Sponsorship.
Okay, then he's not going to say what he's saying behind closed doors. He's going to say, Pfizer, don't worry about it, but I just have to say that so I can get the people's confidence. But we got you. I still need your $48 million on my campaign. Don't worry about it. So subscription model on who became a president or who had a shot at becoming a president is the following names, just so you know. Not sponsorship, whether you like this or not. Sanders was a
Bernie.
subscription model.
Yes.
Obama's first term was a subscription model. Trump's first term was a subscription model. So don't give me this bullshit about
AOC.
Yeah, AOC is a subscription model. This ain't about left or right. This is why I respect Sanders, because he's a subscription model, okay?
It's a very good
This
point.
guy is not a subscription model. This guy is a sponsorship model that has to say whatever the money people tell him behind closed doors. And that's most of the presidents we've had in the last few decades.
That's most politicians, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is why people liked Obama and they wanted Trump and they wanted Sanders. That's a
Because
subscription
they
model.
couldn't be bought.
Guys, this is not about policies. This is just telling you. $5, $10, $20, $40. 88% of our donors are $5 donor. 88%, you know, those statistics that they say. Yeah, these guys cannot say that. You remember that one time, who was the person that was being interviewed? You know what it was? It was Tucker had Jim Jordan on. And I don't know, was Jim Jordan who it was? Actually, I do think it was Jim Jordan when Tucker said, hey, can you, all this stuff that you say about Google and all this other guys, can you explain to us why you took a majority of your contribution is coming from Silicon Valley? I don't know if you remember that or not. It was
Jim Jordan?
I thought it was Jim. I'd like to verify this. I don't want to put his name out there and defame his character if you can verify that. But the point is, the moment you go that route, okay, and you take money from Silicon Valley, you can't sit there and say, this censorship bullshit that they're doing. Yes, Facebook, I'll take your $100,000, but this sucks. Stop it.
Yep.
Stop it. You're acting on what you're doing. Yeah, I said it right. Who is that? Is it Jim Jordan? I was right. How long ago was that, by the way? Can you pull that up and see how
was
long?
a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago. I remember that. So that to me, the moment that, and I'm a Jim Jordan guy, I'm like, wait a minute. You're taking money from these guys, yet you're bashing censorship? So that's what I mean by stop it. You know,
I think it's a.
yeah.
You're
I may
very
be wrong,
No,
I'm just-
I think it's a valid point. I like the analogy that you did
Yeah.
with the subscription versus sponsorship.
these are a lot of sponsorship presidents we got here. Please, John.
I disagree that they're doing it for the money. I think the main motivator is what will people like? What will make me popular? What will not piss people off? The money is secondary.
Okay, I disagree. Here's why. You do that on camera, you're right. You're absolutely right on camera, for sure. 1,000,000% you're right. But camera is Hollywood. Behind closed doors, sitting down doing deals, that's real life.
All right, but we were talking about this in the context of the news conference.
Sure, I get that, but he was explaining it from a standpoint of saying, what do you think about the fact that he said this, I'm a capitalist, but at the same time, you know, sometimes capitalism without competition is exploitation. You're right. So every time you raise minimum wage, who in the behind closed doors goes like this? Amazon says, do it again. Walmart says, do it again. We don't pay anybody $15 an hour. People just want to trash us. Do it again. But the small guy that's sitting there running a restaurant says, dude, I have no clue. How the hell am I supposed to pay this waitress from $7.25 to $15 an hour and tips and restaurant? My burgers are going to go from $8 to $19. I can't afford to do that. Yeah, big businesses love it when they raise minimum wage. So yeah, that's what I mean by exploitation. These are the guys, politicians are the guys with their policies that eliminate competition. If you leave people alone, competition will typically take care of itself, minus the monopoly side, which is kind of happening
And
right
you'd
now.
think we would have discovered this by now, that people would understand. Look at Hong Kong. They went from third world to first world because the government left them alone and people were free to compete. 15% flat tax. And the British rulers sat around and drank tea, left people to pursue their own affairs. And that took them from poor to our level of prosperity.
Our level of prosperity today or back then?
Oh, I'm talking 10, now China's wrecking it, but it's
Sorry,
been
my former employer is about to pull the plug on this thing, so the Federal Reserve.
But to pull the plug
Plug
on what,
on.
Danielle?
On liquidity, on what makes markets go, and
Things
stay
that
happy.
make you go, what do you mean by that? Expound.
They're January the 1st, they increased the reduction of purchases into the market.
Mm-hmm.
They doubled it, so now they're 45 billion less that they're
They're reversing the quantitative easing. Is what you're
exactly,
saying.
and they'll be finished by mid-March, and it's fully anticipated.
then what
and there's
happens
so
after
much political.
mid-March?
Biden at his press conference said it's time for the Fed to take care of inflation, Not mine. It's not our worry. That's the Fed's purview.
But your
So-
tone of voice says you like the quantitative easing.
No hell, me? No hell.
Oh,
no.
okay.
no, you don't know Danielle. That's DDB right there.
No,
John
I wrote a book
Stossel.
called "Fed Up: Why the Federal Reserve
Yeah.
is Bad for America" after working there for 9 years. No.
Oops.
No, but it's hysterical that the Biden administration is placing all of the blame on the supply chain disruption. You can't even make this stuff up.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.